May 22nd, 2017 Village Board meeting to order. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Trustee Kwasniewski.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we please have a roll call?
Kwasniewski.
Here.
Maher. McClafferty.
Here.
Snagowski.
Here.
Stapleton.
Here.
Blatzer. Here.
Okay, great. Next on the agenda is our consent agenda, which will consist of the approval of minutes from our May 15th Village Board meeting, as well as our approval of disbursements. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Blatzer, seconded by Trustee Snagowski. Any questions? Good. Roll call, please.
Kwasniewski.
Yep.
Maher.
Yes.
McClafferty.
Yes.
Snagowski.
Yes.
Stapleton.
Yes.
Blatzer. Yes.
Motion approved. Next up is our mayor's report. A couple things on the mayor's report. As a follow-up to the economic development plan that was discussed in last week's meeting, again, looking for feedback from all residents, we have set up a special email address to get response on this. The email address is mayor@lamont.illinois.us. Again, mayor@lamont.illinois.us. I'm sorry, .il.us. So again, looking for everyone's feedback there. In addition to that, one of the initiatives discussed in that economic plan, we're going to be kicking off a monthly meeting. It's going to involve initially all builders, developers, and staff. And what we're going to be looking to do is have at least a monthly, if not quarterly meeting. We're going to kick it off here in mid-June, and we're looking for participation. So Trustee McClafferty, as well as George and myself, we will be working with those builders to get that meeting set up. Again, all builders, developers, looking for your feedback, and we're really looking forward. The purpose of the meeting is for us to be able to address any type of code or any type of process-related issues that we can make things run smoother in that department. So again, looking forward to that. Couple of other items of note. We have three specifics on the June schedule. First off, the Lamont Chamber of Commerce is hosting the Lamont Artisan Market beginning on Tuesday, June 6th. The market continues on Tuesdays through September, and they will last from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Lamont Township Community Center on Alba Street. This replaces our farmers market that was downtown. One of the constant comments was that people could not go to the market because they work, so hopefully more people can take time out on their Tuesday evenings to join us. Second off, the Lamont Legends Cruise Nights begin on Wednesday, June 7th in the downtown Lamont, and that will last from 6 to 9 p.m. And also, our first Sunset Soiree free summer concert series begins on June 22nd from 7 to 10 p.m. And again, that will be in our downtown area on Stevens Street. Moving on to the clerk's report. Clerk Molitor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'm sorry. We can't skip over the most important part. Our audience participation. Do we have anyone that would like to step up and comment? Please. Can you?
Comment on what you said or just comment?
Oh, no, please step up to the podium, please. And feel free to state your name and address if you're comfortable.
My name is Carol Terzian. I've been a resident of Lamont for 18 years. I live in Old Derby Estates, and I came tonight to possibly see if I could get on the agenda an ordinance for street parking. Because I grew up in Palos Heights, I came from Palos Heights, and we had an ordinance where you couldn't park on the street between 2 and 6 a.m. And the street that I live on has about 15 cars a night parked on it, and it's due to residents not utilizing their garages because they're filled with things besides cars. So it's become a nightmare on my street, a used car lot. And I don't know if that's something that the village would consider, but I thought it didn't hurt to come and ask.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, if I could just jump in real quick. Is this the first time you've contacted the chief or myself on this issue, or have you been in
No,
previously?
well, I've called.
Okay,
I've called before, but there's nothing that the police are able to do because the streets, the cars that are on the streets have stickers, or if they don't have stickers, they're not registered to the village, but they actually are living in these houses. I don't know how they're getting away with not registering their vehicles to the address that they're living in, but they're there day in and day out for the last several years, so they are living there. And we also have work vehicles that are parked on our street, which impair the vision of me and some of my neighbors when you're pulling out of your driveway. I can't see if cars are coming, but they're not marked. They don't have company names on them. They're just personal work vehicles, but they're large.
okay.
So
Yeah, and
that's
tip-
my concern.
Okay, and we typically evaluate these on a case-by-case basis. So if it's the first time I'm hearing about it, we can have Chief Maton, before you leave, if you can leave your contact information with Chief, and I think they'll talk to you at a staff level and potentially bring it up to the board at a future workshop meeting, if deemed necessary. So yeah, that's the first step if you want to drop off
I think
your
the police know
info.
my street pretty well because it's hard to drive down.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Okay, well, thank you. Okay, moving on. Now we can get to our clerk's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We are going right into the resolution, with Resolution R 2717, approving a utility easement agreement with Commonwealth Edison Company.
I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by trustee McClafferty, seconded by trustee Bledsoe. Ralph, or I guess George
Yeah.
on behalf of Ralph.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commonwealth Edison has requested of the village an easement to relocate utility lines from the south side of the I&M Canal between the streets of Holme Street and Prune Street. They're going to be relocating them to the north side of the canal. The relocation project will allow for ComEd to maintain and service the infrastructure more effectively. It'll also assist the village on removing those poles from the south side of the canal where we've had some issues with coordinating with the path in that area. We've been insured, and in your packet, there's an easement agreement where Ralph and the Public Works Department has staked out where they're allowed to put the utilities, and they're going to be at least 5 feet north of our canal path, north of the canal. So we think it's a good project for ComEd to ensure service is satisfactory, but also good for the village and ensuring those lines are put in a good spot for our downtown.
Great.
Thank you.
Question. The poles will be north of the path?
Correct, north of the path, at least 5 feet. Yep. And they'll have to do some tree clearing, and they're aware of that.
That's good.
Any other questions, comments? All right, thanks, George.
Yep.
Roll call?
Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
McClafferty,
Yes.
Snagowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Blatzer.
Yes.
Next is Resolution R 2817, approving lease agreement governmental form with Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago.
Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
First by trustee Kwasniewski, second by trustee Blatzer. Go Go ahead, John.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The village currently leases the property in which the Safety Village resides, and the lease from MWRD is expiring at the end of this month, and they're fairly strict on ensuring that the leases continue without any lapse, without a gap. So the lease in front of you is a form lease from MWRD. We have very little leeway on adjusting the lease. At the end of the day, it's a nominal term lease, essentially a free lease from MWRD to continue operating as is. We're able to put in their potential uses for the future on not only community events and meetings, but also use the facility as a welcoming center for different recreational projects and activities. So that'll be a good use for the building going forward. The agreement you have in front of you changed slightly. We were able to push back on some of the items required from MWRD, but a couple of the items at the end of the day on Friday night, we're told that they were not going to be accepted. Practically speaking, they're very minor. It has to do with notice of, removing of property if MWD needs the property for any purpose, which is very, very slim chance, but it has to be in all their leases. So Mary Goski, you have the corrected Form 1. I sent that out this morning as well to the group, but nothing practically different that it's going to change much in terms of the village's liability or use, but ensure that we'll get the right one as part of the record.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, George. Any other questions or comments? Okay, roll call.
Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
McLafferty,
Yes.
Snagowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Latzer.
yes,
Motion approved.
And the last resolution is R 2917, approving an amendment to the employment agreement between the Village of Lamont and George J. Schaefer for position of village administrator.
I need a motion to
So
approve.
move.
second,
Okay, first by trustee Snagowski, seconded by trustee Blatzer. Okay, so George's agreement expired at the expiration of late last month. Looking forward to George coming on for the next 4 years. I've had a good opportunity to work with him over the last 4 weeks. Very excited to get and keep George on board. We've shared a lot of similar visions and thoughts, and I'm very comfortable with George coming on board. With that being said, what we did is we did a comparison of his compensation to basically the 15 cohorts by population, similar to Lamont. George's base salary is in the lower, was basically near the bottom of that quartile. We are increasing his salary. He's still going to be in the lower quartile. However, we also have a 10% incentive as well, which would then keep him even below the average. So again, we're looking forward to keeping George on board. And before we look for any other comments, I just want to mention there are 2 changes in there. They're somewhat minor. Section 1, we're actually adding an end date. So there will be a term, and it will expire May 1st, 2021. In addition, in Section 3, referencing Section 13, the last sentence should read that the performance area shall be determined by the mayor and village board. Basically striking out the original language that just limited it to 2 specific areas. So 2 changes there. So with that being said, any other questions or comments? Can I have a roll call, please?
Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
McLafferty,
Yes.
Snagowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Latzer.
yes.
Okay, motion approved.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Clerk Molitor. Okay, moving on. Next up on the agenda is our village attorney report. We'll have a report in executive session, Mr. Mayor. Okay, great, thank you. Next up, George, our village administrator report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple quick items. Construction season is upon us, as you can tell out there with all the cones on State Street. A couple of the projects that are completing now, Derby Road Bridge has been completed. Some punch list items that are out there, but that project is completed. The State Street Water Main project is nearing completion. All the new 12-inch main is in. The service lines have been installed. The patching that you were driving around, it's a little little soft in some areas. Those are temporary patches. Just want to make the community aware that over the next 10, 15 days, we'll be installing the permanent patching and pavement to cover up those areas. But thank you for your patience on this project. It's a highly visible part of town. Everyone drives on State Street, and we're nearing completion. If you do have any other issues with the service, with traffic, please give us a call. But like I said, over the next 10 days or so, that project will be completely nearing its completion, I guess, in about 10 days after all the pavement gets in. So our road program will start soon after Memorial Day. PT Farrow is our contractor that was approved by the previous board back in April, I believe, to continue that project. But we will be getting information out to our residents on that project. It should work out with not disrupting school traffic. Starting a little bit later in the season will help out. Couple other small mentions. Just want to say the Illinois Department of Transportation is going to be resurfacing McCarthy Road. That project will be let in June. Probably a fall project. That'll be all the way from town all the way east through the Triangle property, and actually all the way east to Route 45. So good project, and that'll be probably a fall project to complete before the end of the year. The big one, though, I did want to make residents aware, and we'll be sending more information out through our electronic communication, but the state is going to be upgrading, or I guess maintaining, the bridge that goes over the Cal-Sag Channel. They're going to be repairing some of the joists on the bridge. That project will start July 5th, and it will require a complete shutdown of actually southbound traffic back into Lamont. It's been going back and forth with the state, but for a 30-day period, that'll be open going north out of town, but coming south back into town on 83 will be completely shut down. They'll be rerouting traffic to Route 45. So please plan your routes back into town accordingly. And the police department's been made aware that it'll probably create other bottlenecks in town of people avoiding that stretch of roadway. Between the fire district and the village, we tried to push back on that project a little bit to shorten it up. We were successful. It was originally a 60-day project. They put some provisions in the contract to bring that down to 30 days. And we tried to get them to exhaust all resources, options before they close down the bridge completely. But for safety reasons, they're going to need to close it down. Actually headed south into town now. So people will be able to get out in the morning, but coming back, you'll have to find an alternate route. So
I'm sorry, when's it going to start?
it'll start July 5th
George?
in a 30-day project. Correct.
And will both lanes northbound be open, or are they bringing that down?
They're bringing that down to one lane. So it'll
lane
still be
northbound.
correct. Yeah. So we will send, between the police department and Public Works, we will send out notifications, but please start thinking about adjusting your route now. So, the other couple, that's it for construction projects. If anybody has anything else, did want to make mention again that vehicle stickers are going on sale on June 1st. You can come here at Village Hall Monday through Friday, regular hours, and then actually every Monday through that period besides July 4th. Chris is going to be here extended hours on board meeting night. So Monday will be the late, you're able to come after hours and pick up your vehicle sticker. They are due on August 1st. So we earmark all those revenues for capital equipment, police cars, public works vehicles. So it's an important revenue. We'll try to make it as easy as possible, and Chris will be here during after hours. I did want to just make mention that we're going to put the closing date on the planning and zoning applications to Friday. We got a lot of quality applications from our last meeting, a lot of residents who want to get involved, and we're very excited. So we're going to put that closing date on Friday. So please, if you want to get involved, come to our website, and we have 3 openings on the Planning and Zoning Commission. And then soon after, I know the mayor and I and a couple others from staff, maybe on the board, will interview members for that commission. So.
Yeah.
And lastly, and actually jump into there, is our full meeting schedule will come back up in June. We'll have the 12th, 19th, and 26th we'll be meeting here. 12 and 26 will be village board meetings, and the 19th we'll have a committee of the whole. But if you have anything else.
Yeah, great. We've had several applicants for the planning and zoning, so very excited. And again, if any other residents are interested, please get that in, and we will be following up. And again, excited to hear from everyone, and thanks again for all the interest as well. Thanks, George. Next up, board reports. I think we're good there. Staff reports, Chief Mayton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to thank all the patrons who came and supported us Friday for the a Special Olympics fundraiser. And even though we were only out about 3 hours before the rains came, we raised about $4,300 that'll go towards Special Olympics. So again, please let folks know that we are appreciative and
Yeah, thanks, Chief. That was a nasty day, and you guys did a great job, and again, we appreciate everyone's contribution to that. Next up, unfinished business or any new business? Anyone? Okay. Well, I will need a motion to move into executive session to discuss under Chapter 5 ILCS of the Open Meetings Act, pending litigation under Section 2C11. Need a motion? So moved. Motion by trustee Maher, seconded by trustee McClafferty, to move into executive session. Roll call, please.
Before we go on, are we going under for employment of employee? No. Did you strike that?
Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Maher,
Yes.
McClafferty,
Yes.
Snagowski,
Yes.
Stapleton,
Yes.
Latzer.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move into executive session, and there's nothing else to be approved after executive session. So for the public, we will ask you to please leave, and we'll move into executive session in 2 minutes here. Thank you. Thanks for coming out, everyone. Appreciate it.